trading day. Well, just how financially savvy are Australians and how much does it matter? Well, George Lucas, co-founder of the Wealth Know-How website, joins me now live in the studio to discuss the need for increased financial literacy. George, thanks so much for joining me in the studio. Why is there this need to spread financial literacy via new media?
Oh, via new media, because in the 90s, obviously the retirement system changed and we became a lot more responsible. But also in the 90s, we used to rely much more on, calling up our broker or our advisor, and so we get a lot of financial literacy from that. But since then, the whole world's begun moving towards internet, so we've seen more and more, internet-based brokers and internet-based systems for, insurance, etc. And so people are bypassing their advisors, which used to be the traditional way of getting financial advice.
Yeah, but how's the way the government's changed the retirement savings system played into the need for this?
Oh, before the 90s, everyone had a defined benefit system, or most people had defined benefit systems where the retirement was based on your final salary. And then in the 90s, the government changed that towards you becoming more responsible for your savings. And so but they didn't really change the literacy at the time, so they didn't really explain to you what that actually meant, you being responsible. And so, initially the products around that were quite, unique, just industry super funds, etc. But also since the 90s, we've seen an explosion of products available for people to invest in for their retirement savings.
It's also tough to put all the responsibility on the individual when there's an ageing population and more people needing these retirement savings.
It is tough, but that's what the system did. When they changed to the, a defined contribution system, that's what it did. It put the responsibility onto you to retire for your, be responsible for your retirement savings. They still have the safety net there with the pension, but the responsibility does lie with you. That's just the way the system changed.
Because the government originally changed responsibilities for retirement savings but didn't quite change or increase the financial literacy curriculum. So how have they done that now? Oh yeah,
well they've have a lot more approaches to it now. So we're seeing an increase in websites coming out from ASIC. ASIC's got Money Smart. We've seen the ATO start doing a lot of education around self-managed super funds, as we're seeing the explosion in self-managed super funds. And then also we've got the Financial Literacy Foundation, which is putting a lot of money into schools, etc., to improve the financial literacy. And where before, just understanding compound interest and how to cross-check used to be what you needed to know, you need to know a lot more.
But are there a lot of options available, defensive, growth, balance, depending on what stage of life you're at?
Oh yeah, well that's all about understanding super, and most people I would think wouldn't understand that. Where before you might have just put your money into an industry super fund, now even those industry super funds will have various options about defensive or growth or balanced, and that type of information needs to get out there, and what the differences are and what the risks people are taking by going into those products.
And what was FOFA trying to do, and why hasn't it quite played out how they'd hoped?
Yeah, well, obviously one of the original aims for FOFA is to make advice more affordable. And the reason they wanted to make advice more affordable is even ASIC's own research has shown that advice is valuable to people. But a lot of that message has been lost in a lot of the arguments that have gone around about FOFA and how people get paid and whatever. But really the idea of FOFA was, I thought the idea of FOFA was really to get it more affordable to people, because talking to an advisor is a great way of, improving your financial literacy.
I guess one of the issues with the internet and having new media is all this advice coming out, and often the advice is sort of biased but covered, trying to kind of spruik a product of some sort. How do you tell the difference, and how do you know that you're getting a good deal?
Well, obviously that's one of the reasons we set up Wealth Know-How, so there was a very generic advice platform where it wasn't really product flogging, but a lot of the advice is provided by the product issuers or from the financial service issuers. It's just, and we know that a lot of people from research are going to the internet first to understand their options. But at the end of the day, you're going to need a good advisor once you've got all this information to help you, and after you've done all your research on the internet, to try and work out where you want to go.
It's obviously a big issue, as I mentioned, with the ageing population. So what more can the government, or is the government, doing?
Well, as I said before, they're improving their financial education literacy, both at the primary, at the school level, but also by providing a lot more information on the internet. But there's also a lot more education, and they've got to clear up the messages that they're getting out there about FOFA, and they've got to clear up the messages about investing, and that investing is a complicated thing to do. It's not simple. It's not child's play, and understanding all the various products out there is quite a difficult thing to do. and therefore you need to get advice to help you get through that.
So what do you tell people who don't really know much about this and sort of need to get more information?
Well, obviously go to the internet. They can have a look at our website. They can also have a look at the ASIC websites and the ATO websites about the various issues associated with retirement saving.
All right, George Lucas, co-founder of the Wealth Know How